Hi gang, it's Friday, and today we're looking at another singer-songwriter who they classified as country. But to me, that really isn't an honest classification. You got to remember, back in these days, we're talking albums, cassettes, CDs. We had to classify them as something so we knew where to find them in the record store and where to file them. So a lot of people got grouped into categories that didn't really reflect what they were doing. I mentioned last week I guess a week or two ago with Lyle Lovett, how while he was country and had a lot of country elements, his music was so much more. It was very personal, it was very unique style, and it is what it is. It's not necessarily country, but it's Lyle Lovett. And today we're looking at another singer-songwriter that's kind of in that same boat. Today, looking at Mary Chapin Carpenter. Now, Mary Chapin Carpenter started out in the mid-1980s. I didn't get her first album, Hometown Girl, at first. First time I saw her was where I saw a lot of the great musicians I've followed is on PBS. One of the shows called Austin City Limits. And it's amazing how many people public broadcasting exposed me to that I've followed over the years. So the first album that really took off and was successful for her was Mary Chapin Carpenter, State of the Heart. And we had a couple of really good hits off this. Now, at this time, her band also included a guitar player, I'll just find his name here, John Jennings. And John Jennings was an excellent guitar player and also co-produced these next three albums that I'm going to talk about. So he really helped define Mary Chapin Carpenter's sound. This one, quite a few hits off it. Something of a Dreamer, Never Had It So Good, Quitting Time, and Too Tired. And really, the sound was a little more jangly than country music. It's like that Rickenbacker sound that she was playing. It had elements of folk, it had elements of rock, it did have some elements of country in there, but it was not what you'd expect for country music. Second album that I enjoyed, and again, the ones I'm talking about this time are in her early years. This is the late 1980s into the 1990s. The next album was Shooting Straight in the Dark. And yes, the picture is a little blurry. That's the artistic side of it. Again, produced by John Jennings. Down at the Twist and Shout is probably the big hit off this one. And again, not your typical country music, but a very unique style, and the band she had really brought that out. The next one, Come On, Come On, and this was maybe more of a hit album. Just to give you some idea of the songs that were on it, we had The Hard Way, He Thinks He'll Keep Her, I Feel Lucky, which was a really big hit, Passionate Kisses, and I'll Take My Chances. So a lot of hits off that song. Now, at this point, she had three very solid albums. So they were going to put out a greatest hits style album. And again, you know how much I enjoy live albums. So we kind of combined the two things together here. She's got an album called Party Doll. And basically it's a greatest hits album, but it's made up of some previously released recordings as well as live performances. Just to give you an idea of what we have for live performances on here, we got Down at Twist and Shout that was done at Super Bowl 31. We've got Quittin' Time done at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville. I'll Take My Chances live at Madison, Wisconsin. The Hard Way live at Wolf Trap, and Stones in the Road live at Her Majesty's Theatre in London. So we got about half of the CD is actually live performances. Okay, and then it's Party Doll. Now as well, speaking of live performances and one-on-one performances, since the pandemic, Mary Chapin's been doing Songs from Home, a series she does regularly on her Facebook page, and they're available also online if you just query them in one of your search engines. What it is solo performances that she's doing from her kitchen or around her house. Just her guitar, and her music. A lot of her songs in there, and a few good covers. I saw one last week that was a cover of Bob Dylan's Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. And to see her playing that solo, I was very surprised by her guitar abilities. I mean, in the band, you lose sight of that, but as a one-on-one where she's just playing guitar and singing to you, her guitar playing was pretty masterful. It was really interesting. And this has been going on since March, just a little something she's giving back to people to help get them through the pandemic. And that's really, really something neat. So if you get a chance, check those out while you're online. It's either on their Facebook page, or if you Google it or search it, you'll find some of the videos. A good chance to see the artist pretty much revealing themselves to you. There's no band hiding it. It's just the guitar, the singer-songwriter, and the audience. It's really a nice way to revisit some of these older songs. So there you have it, something to check out. If you were thinking she was just country, there's a lot more to it than that. If you've only heard her recent recordings, and I listened to a lot of them, they don't capture some of the excitement and some of the energy that some of these earlier ones did, when it was maybe a little more rocky, maybe a little more folky. It was just a different style of music. And again, the ones produced by John Jennings had a very specific kind of style and sound to them that really were what introduced her to the world. So if you get a chance, check out Mary Chapin Carpenter. That's it for today. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.